Hi, welcome to Vision Mathematics. My name is Thomas Vanda. I'm going to take you through lesson number 2 of grade 12 trigonometry. In this lesson, we are going to continue with the use of compound angle formula. In particular, we are going to look at how to use some manipulations which can allow us to apply compound angle formula in order to evaluate given expressions. Enjoy your lesson. In this section, we will be looking at how to use clever manipulations to allow us to use the compound angle formula. I will illustrate the technique using this example. Evaluate without the use of a calculator sine 75 degrees. The technique here is to express the given angle, in this case 75 degrees, as the sum or difference of special angles. Remember, our special angles are 30 degrees, 45 degrees, and 60 degrees. The other special angles, 0, 90, 180, 360, can also be used. But here we are looking specifically at 30, 45, and 60. Now, 75 degrees can be expressed as 45 degrees plus 30 degrees. Both of these are special angles. So we have expressed 75 degrees as the sum of two special angles. Then we can expand this using the double angle formula for sine. That's sine 45 degrees cos 30 degrees plus cos 45 degrees sine 30 degrees. Now, since these are special angles, we can now substitute the values of this. Sine 45 is root 2 over 2. Cos 30 is root 3 over 2. Plus cos 45 is root 2 over 2. Sine 30 is half. And multiplying, we have root 2 times root 3 equal to root 6. Remember how to handle sets. If the root is the same, square root, you can multiply the numbers under the square root sign. So this is 2 times 3, which is 6, put under 1 root sign. Multiplying the denominators, 2 times 2 gives us 4, plus. Then root 2 times 1 is root 2, and then 2 times 2 giving us 4. Now, these are unlike sets. They cannot be added. Just like in algebra, you cannot add unlike terms. Root 6 and root 2 are unlike. They cannot be added. But the two fractions can be written under one common denominator, and they already have a common denominator 4. So this can be written as root 6 plus root 2 over 4. Observe that it can also be written as 1 over 4 into root 6 plus 2, factoring out the 1/4. I have included this because in some questions, the question might say, show that sine is equal to this. And then when you get to this, you should know that it can be written as that, because if you don't know that, you can get stuck and you cannot continue. Let's now have some practice questions. Evaluate without the use of a calculator. Sine 15 degrees, cos 15 degrees, cos 75 degrees, sine 105. Let us now look at the suggested answers for the practice questions. In question 1, we were required to evaluate sine 15 degrees without using a calculator. Now, 15 can be expressed as 45 minus 30. 45 degrees and 30 degrees are both special angles. Observe that you could also use 60 minus 45. Now, sine 45 minus 30 degrees can now be expanded using compound angle formula. That's sine 45 degrees cos 30 degrees minus cos 45 degrees sine 30 degrees. And substituting the values, sine 45 degrees is root 2 over 2, cos 30 degrees root 3 over 2, minus cos 45 degrees is root 2 over 2, sine 30 degrees is half. And multiplying out, root 2 times root 3 gives us root 6 over 2 times 2, which is 4. And here root 2 multiplied by 1 is root 2, and 2 times 2, 4. And putting everything under one denominator, since 4 is a common denominator, this is equal to root 6 minus root 2 all over 4. And as I indicated in the example, this can be written quarter into root 6 minus root 2. Unless you are required to show that this is equal to that, you can stop here, it's still okay. Question number 2. We are required to evaluate cos 15 degrees without the use of a calculator. As in the previous example, we express 15 as 45 minus 30 degrees. You might as well use 60 minus 45. Then we expand using the compound angle formula for cosine. That's cos 45 cos 30 plus sine 45 sine 30. And making the substitutions, cos 45 is the square root of 2 over 2 times cos 30 degrees square root of 3 over 2 plus sine 45 square root of 2 over 2 times sine 30, that's 1 over 2. Multiplying out the brackets, root 2 times root 3 gives us root 6, and 2 times 2, 4. Root 2 times 1, root 2, 2 times 2, 4. These have a common denominator, so we can add the numerators. The final answer, root 6 plus root 2 all over 4. Question number 3. We were required to evaluate cos 75 degrees without using a calculator. Now you could write cos 75 degrees as 45 degrees plus 30 degrees. And then expanding that using compound angle formula, that's equal to cos 45 degrees cos 30 degrees minus sine 45 degrees sine 30 degrees, and substituting the values of the trig ratios. Cos 45 degrees is root 2 over 2 times cos 30 degrees root 3 over 2 minus sine 45 degrees root 2 over 2 sine 30 degrees is 1/2. And simplifying, that gives us root 6 over 4 minus root 2 over 4, which further simplifies to root 6 minus root 2 all over 4. Question number 4. We were asked to evaluate sine 105 degrees without using a calculator. I expressed sine 105 degrees as sine 60 plus 45 degrees. There are other ways of doing the same thing. You might first reduce this to an acute angle before expressing it as a sum or difference of special angles. But here I have just taken 60 and 45 because 60 plus 45 give us 105 degrees. There are several approaches. Then expanding using compound angle formula. Again, remember to copy the formula correctly from your information sheet. That's sine 60 degrees cos 45 degrees plus cos 60 degrees sine 45 degrees. And making the substitutions, sine 60 degrees is root 3 over 2, cos 45 root 2 over 2, cos 60 degrees 1/2, sine 45 degrees root 2 over 2. And simplifying, that gives us root 6 over 4 plus root 2 over 4. And putting them under one common denominator, that simplifies to root 6 plus root 2 all over 4. Well, that's it for now. Meet you in the next lesson. Bye-bye.